Right, how to make carbon door cards. You need to make your mould first. To make the mould you need to die. To make a die you need a door card. So get a door card, fill up all the stuff you don't want showing on your final mould or your final pull. Cover any bits with tape that you haven't filled or you can't be asked to fill. Get your die so you're happy with it, and then you want to polish it. Wax it 4 or 5 times with car wax. Alright, phase 1. Step 2. Next thing you need to do is get some polyvinyl alcohol release agent. It's not the same as polyvinyl acetate or whatever it is. It's not the same as glue. The last thing you want to be using is glue, alright, because you'll just stick everything together. That's bollocks. You don't want that. So polyvinyl alcohol. You get it from Easy Composites. Get it from all over the place. And basically what it does, you paint it on top of your wax after you've done 3 or 4 coats of your wax, and it creates a nice thin film to which you're going to lay your gel coat. And this just prevents the gel coat, along with the wax, this prevents the gel coat from sticking to your die. The good thing about this stuff is you can wash it off. It's water soluble, so you'll wash it off a gel coat, but you'll see later. Now you want to go over your thing. I'm probably going to do this one probably 3 times because of the filler. If you didn't have filler on it, you'd probably get away with it once, but yeah, give this 2 or 3 coats. I'll come back once I've done it. I don't know if you can pick it up on film very well. Oh, you can. You see how it's gone all shiny, and that's what we're looking for. So it's got good coverage, yeah? I'll let that go off and we'll do another one. Might do another 2. We'll see. I completely couldn't film that because of the weather. The gel coat's going off so fast, so let's be really quick. But you have to mix. You have to get some gel coat. Get some gel coat first. The gel coat is what's going to give you the glossy outside finish of the mould, so it's absolutely imperative. So the reason you put the wax and the PVA on is to stop this from sticking to the die. And like I said, this is what gives you the glossy outside part, which is what you're going to lay your carbon fibre into. We will get to that later. But yeah, so the gel coat is a 2-part system. So it's got MEKP catalyst hardener with it, which by the way burns your skin. So for fuck's sake, don't get it on your skin like I did, because it does hurt. And that's 2% ratio. So to cover this door card, I've mixed 250 grams by weight to 5 ml by volume of catalyst, which I think or hope is 2%. 2%, hopefully. Well, it should be anyway. But it goes off quite quick. You've got an 8 to 13 minute gel time, it says on the tin, but this is going off pretty rapid. So what you do, you paint that all over. Paint it all over your mould, and that'll give you a nice glossy effect. Now what I forgot to mention earlier, which is quite crucial as well, is your choppy, your CSM, your chop strand mat. I learned the hard way last time I tried to do one of these, or previous time, by trying to lay. I mean, this is 400 GSM because it's thick old stuff, but it's all I've got at the minute, so I'm just going to use it. Trying to lay that on the die with resin is almost impossible, but it's got so much mechanical sort of tension built into the chop, it just springs back. So talking to a mate of mine who does this for a living, and he said best thing to do in that situation, if that's all you got is 400 GSM, is to cut out different patterns. So cut out the inlay there first, cut out these other handles and lay them in, and then you can lay your flat sections over the top. And what we're going to do is we're going to lay that onto the gel and let the gel coat gel for a bit, get it so it's tacky. Once it's tacky, then we can lay the choppy on it and then knock up our resin and lay our resin onto the chop. If I was to knock up the resin now and then mess about trying to get the choppy in the right places, I'll guarantee you the resin will go hard before I'm even halfway through laying the chop. So you've got to be quite quick, really. Yeah, certain places, easy composites, when you do, you'll see this later, when I do the actual carbon laminating, what I use, it's here somewhere, what I use for that is epoxy laminating resin, but easy composites do it with a slow hardener, which gives you loads and loads of work time. I've tried to do it with fast hardener. You got no chance. You got absolutely no chance of getting it wetted out. So, but we'll come to all that later. So this section is gel coat, MEKP catalyst hardener, mixed to the correct ratios, and then painted on top of your dye. So that creates the glossy finish on your mould. All right. On to the next part. All right, this is what I mean about the choppy. So I've laid the choppy down into the gel coat whilst it's still tacking, and that just holds it all in place, makes it a lot easier. Now what I've done, because of the weather and this polyester resin, oh shit, shouldn't have done that really, it just goes off so quick, even at 2%. So I'm just going to do it in stages. Shouldn't really be smoking there either, but fuck it. So I'll do it in stages. Do that bit first. Let that go off. I'll just have a quick cigarette and then knock up another 250ml. I found in the past, if you knock up more than about 250ml or 250 grams of this particular resin, it goes off far too fast and you just can't work it. It just turns to gel in the pot. So that's something I'd definitely recommend doing. Knock up small amounts. You can keep on going with polyester, it doesn't matter. Just knock up small amounts and get a job done. So if you knock up all your resin and you try and bung it all on, it'll have gone off before you're halfway through, and then you've got to wait for it to be delivered, and that's shit. So that's where we're at, yeah. Right, I'll finish the fag. I'll knock up another batch, and then get a bit more on. Probably do 3 batches of 250 gram, so 750 gram of resin on this first layer, and then because I really want to keep this mould to do another few for other people, I'll probably do another 4 layers of resin and choppy, but the following layers will be much easier. Anyway, that's that bit. Right, little update. In the meantime, I spoke to my mate about something else altogether, and he reminded me that, and I needed to tell you guys, when you're using this super thick choppy, this super thick chop tray mat, it's actually a lot easier if you tear it up into bits, into webs like that, whatever size you want, and then lay them. It just absorbs all the resin a lot quicker. So I've gone over that. It's probably all out about 2 or 3, I can't really remember, layers of fiberglass. I don't know if that's going to be enough or not. It's going to be enough for today anyway. I might just leave it at that actually. Might just leave it at that, see what it feels like when I pull it. It's a bit of a risk though. I just can't be arsed with mixing up any more bloody resin. No, I'm going to leave it at that and see what it's like when I pull it. And yeah, see how it is. Right, the next video is going to be the pull. Right, there's been a change of plan. I've done about 5 layers on this now. Just thought, fuck it, I'm just going to knock it all up. Well, not all of it. It's got loads of resin left. 5 kilo thing of resin, probably used, I don't know, 1.5 kilos. About a kilo probably. Just to be on the safe side, because I learned last time, trying to cut corners, you can't cut corners. It just don't work. I tried to avoid using gel coat last time, and just used fiberglass, and 2K painted it. And what happened was the when I laid the carbon fibre into the mould, the epoxy resin stuck to the paint, and I end up having to spend best part of a day wet sanding the paint off of the carbon panel, and yeah, it was just rubbish. So I'm avoiding that this time by using gel coat. So yeah, hopefully it's going to come out alright. Got another project on the go as well, which is carbon fibre centre console. But I didn't have all the fiberglass at the time when I started that off. I had loads of meters and meters and meters of carbon, but I didn't have any fiberglass. I couldn't be asked to make a mould for it. But anyway, it don't matter. This is it for today, and then what I'm going to do is I'll pull this tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow lunchtime, and with any luck it'll be a decent mould, and I'll start doing a video about laying the laminate carbon and building up the actual panel itself, and show you how to do that later. Right, it's the morning after the night before. The mould's all gone off. It must have been about 15 hours, so that's got to be plenty of time, I reckon. So what I'm trying to do, and what you've got to try and do, is carefully pull back your fiberglass from your die, from your door card, yeah? What I'm going to do is pull it back a little bit, wedge a stirrer stick in, wedge a stirrer stick in, wedge a ruler in, whatever. Just slowly work around with wedges all the way around the outside. And you got to try and break that seal. All of a sudden it'll just go, and it'll just pop out. It's a real sort of sketchy moment in the whole process, because it's, well, you know when you've ruined it. So you just got to take your time, just go easy with it. Try not to be too impatient, which is something that I suffer from quite badly myself. But just another note, stirrer sticks reminded me. Don't bother going and buying stirrer sticks and mixing cups and stuff like that. Just go in your local petrol station. I don't know if I should say this really. Go in your local petrol station, buy a coffee if you like, and just get a handful of cups. Do that a couple of times a week, and like me, you'll end up with about 150 cups and about 300 stirrer sticks. McDonald's is a good place for stirrer sticks as well. There's no point in paying good money for cups. It's a waste of fucking money, isn't it? Another thing to get, which I forgot to buy, is acetone, which is why I've got through 10 brushes on this project, but they're 30p each at Toolstation. Again, bulk buy your brushes, but bulk buy some acetone as well, for God's sake, so you can clean your stuff up. Otherwise you'll just end up with hundreds of solid lumps of resin in the bottom of a Costa cup. Alright, I'm going to go and try and get this mould out, and we'll see what it comes out like. Right, mould's off. It hasn't come out ideal, really. I know what the problem is. The problem is the body filler and the mottled effects that you get on here. It's quite difficult to avoid, but it's not actually that much of a pain in the arse. Well, it's not for me, so I don't really care. But so the body filler has a tendency to absorb anything, obviously by nature. I don't know, maybe I didn't give it enough coats of PVA. Whatever, it don't really matter, it's done now. But on the plus side, I've just knocked it back. It's not that bad. I've just knocked it back a little bit. Some 120. I'm going to go over again with some 240. And probably what I'll end up doing is going all over this whole thing, wet and dry, up to probably 800. Won't take long, half hour or so. Bring it up to 800. See how smooth it is then. But even with a 240, it's incredibly smooth. But you're going to have to flat it out anyway because of the mottled effect of the actual door card. So flat this back to 800 and see what it's like, and come back. Right, we're back. So the mould's the gel coat's been sanded down to about down to 400, I think it was. 120 just to get the bits of filler off here and there. and then 240, 400 wet. And then what I do is I tape off all around the edge there. You can make flanges when you make your moulds, but I can never be asked to do it. But packing tape, epoxy resin doesn't stick to packing tape, or sellotape for that matter, or silver tape. So the reason I do that all the way around the edges there is a couple of reasons. One, so it's easier to get the carbon out when we pull it, and two, so the carbon doesn't snag on the actual fiberglass mould itself and pull the strands, because it's really annoying when that happens. It once it's pulled, it pulls all the way through. It's a nightmare. But you'll see later what I mean about that. So what I'm going to do now I think I've got this ready, is polish it a few times with the same wax I used before, and then I'm going to give it at least 3 coats of the PVA release agent, the polyvinyl alcohol, and then this mould will be ready for laying in carbon. Sweet. Well, I've laid the first layer of carboning, because I need to get it just right. I can't hold the phone at the same time. So what I'm going to try and do, I'll try and show you with the second layer by putting it up here, and hopefully don't fall off into the fucking door card. Right, so you knock out your resin, 100 to 30 for this slow release hardener, slow hardener. It's the same. I realise now I lost the video. So basically, once you've laid all your carbon in, I keep losing epoxy videos. I don't know what's going on here. Right, where was I up to? This is it all laid up. I kept messing up getting this recorded. So what you need to do, once you've got your mould ready with PVA, waxed a few times, PVA'd a few times, let your PVA go off, however long that takes. It always says on the side of the bottle. Then you want to give it a good coat of resin. Knock up a bit of resin. Knock up, I don't know, 150 grams of resin, and get that painted all over. Hang on a sec. Fucking door. Sorry about that. Get that painted all over your mould. Cover the whole mould in resin. All right. You wanna pre-cut your carbon fabric to the 6 inches, maybe larger than your panel. Lay your carbon down into your panel, all right? And using one of these rollers, you want to work from the inside and work your way out. Most important thing to do with the Disco 1 door cards, a bit difficult to see, you need to get the contours of this inlay all the way around. You need to get that laid up first and work out to the edges from there, if that makes sense. Otherwise you'll find you'll pull these edges and it'll look shit. You'll end up with air bubbles on your finished face of your carbon, and that don't look good at all. You end up throwing it away, to be honest. So 2 or 3 layers of cloth, and then any offcuts you got, just chuck them in and just build it up. Keep building it up as thick as you want. The way carbon fibre gets its strength is from equal parts resin to weight of carbon cloth. So I think this cloth is 200 GSM, 200 gram per square metre. So for every square metre of cloth you're using, you need to have 200 grams of resin. So that gives it its correct ratios, resin to cloth. Too much resin and it'll become brittle and it'll crack, you know, if it gets knocked. Not enough resin and it can flex more than it wants to flex, and if it can bend and flex too much, it's going to crack the resin. So it's absolutely critical. I mean, these guys that manufacture stuff, it's a massive science that they've created. If you was doing this in a vacuum, you would have your resin pot with the correct amount of resin in it. I guess it would pump it in. I don't have a vacuum. I was thinking about building one, but like everything Land Rover, it goes on a back burner, and I'll get there one day. Alright, so I hope that makes sense. Yeah, you lay a layer of resin, a layer of cloth, a layer of resin, a layer of cloth, and you want to wet it down and roll it between each layer. So you're forcing the cloth down onto the resin each time until you get to the final one, and then you can dab your resin all round, paint your resin on, and wet it up. What I might do, because it's a bit of a letdown, you're not seeing this part of the video really. What I might actually do, I've got to make a few other things. I've got to make a couple of battery boxes for my truck, just a few other bits and bobs, a couple of things for a mate. I think he wants a couple of bits. So I won't bother doing a video about the glass fibre mould side of that, but I'll do a couple of videos just about wet laying the carbon, and I'll set my phone up properly on that. It's a bit of a fucking letdown, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. All right. Later.